now declare the BZA meeting for August 25th, 2022 to order. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Alrighty. Roll call, please.
Carrie Simpkins.
Here.
Bill Crawford.
Here.
Jeff Fisher. Excellent. Darren Price.
Here.
Leota King.
Present.
Bill McDaniel.
Present.
Jeff Wessling.
Present.
And Beverly Rude.
All right. Next on the agenda is petition 15548. It's for a special exception for a wireless communication tower. Now open the public meeting for special exception.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Mike Maxwell. I'm with the law firm of Clark Quinn in Indianapolis, 320 North Meridian Street, Suite 1100. I'm here with Elizabeth Williams of my office, who's a land planner. She actually knows what she's doing here as opposed to me, who's just the lawyer. And then we also have the property owners, Mr. and Mrs. Ruff, with us here tonight too. We're here requesting a special exception for Verizon's wireless facility at 6196 Kidd Road. Staff has recommended approval of our request based on the 6 requirements that apply for the granting of a special exception, which is the only land use issue in this case. The purpose of the proposed facility is to provide additional 4G wireless capacity, coverage, and reliability in the subject area. It's a guide tower, and that's illustrated at the second page of tab 3, what the tower will look like. It's going to be 300 feet tall with an additional 8 feet for a lightning rod. The general location of the facility is shown under tab 1 of the materials we've provided. As you can see from looking at that, it's several miles or so south of downtown Connersville, generally. Tab 2 is an aerial view of the property, and you can see in tab 2 the property line outlined there with the PL property line designation around. Generally, the property is approximately 114 acres in size. It's zoned A2 agricultural, and as you can see from the aerial view, it's basically a mix of agricultural land and wooded areas on the property. The proposed site for the tower is also shown on the aerial for tab 2, and it's well removed from existing residential uses surrounding the property. And it's also surrounded, obviously, from the aerial on several sides with the woods itself as a buffer. It will use at least the beginning portion of its drive, an existing drive, for access to the facility. Tab 3 of our materials we provided shows a more detailed site plan and elevation for the facility. Verizon's lease area for the facility will be 100 foot by 100 foot area. It will contain a 50 foot by 50 foot compound surrounded by a 6 foot tall chain link fence. And in addition to the tower, there will be radio equipment and an equipment canopy at the facility. The second page shows where Verizon's antenna will be located, which is at a height of 290 feet on the tower, and there are additional spaces for co-location on the tower. The ground lighting will be, the only lighting will be on the ground will be required for security, a security light, which is typical for these kinds of facilities. And of course, it will be constructed in accordance with all state, local laws regarding construction and all those kinds of good things. Tab 6, I'd refer you to, that's our radio frequency engineer statement of need. Need basically boils down to issues of capacity, or network coverage. The capacity of the network relates to how much phone and data traffic existing facilities can handle. At some point, new facilities have to be built and be added to the network to handle increasing usage demand. The primary purpose of this facility is to provide added capacity to the network in the area by offloading data and call usage from existing sites that are already there. Tab 6 also discusses how the location and height of a new facility are important to improving capacity, and the radio engineers go through why the selection of the location at the height was necessary in order to achieve the increased capacity for the 4G data usage and call usage. As they note, it's being placed near the center of the area. Tab 6 also includes the radio engineer statement as to why co-location on existing towers was not possible. There simply were no structures in which we could co-locate and also satisfy the increased capacity needs for the network south of Connersville. Tab 7, which in some ways is, to my mind, always the funnest tab, shows the couple exhibits that show how the proposed facility will improve coverage capacity when built. So the first exhibit with regard to existing, you see shows with different colors the areas currently covered by existing towers in that area. So for example, you've got a cell tower in the upper right quadrant there by the white dot, and that carries all the traffic colored in green. And so too the other dot with red, yellow, etc. If you flip then to the next page, the blue dot there shows the new tower, proposed tower, and it will offload, shown here in purple, all of that usage, data usage, cell phone usage. You can see, for example, flip back and forth with regard to the tower with the green, that's covering the green area, how much of that is really offloaded then into the new tower, allowing significant increase in capacity for people to use their cell phones and their data and so on and so forth, their smartphones. Tab 5, we provided a letter from the FAA indicating that the proposed facility is not a hazard to any aviation type issues. Tab 4 is what we call the fall zone letter, and it outlines the fact that if the tower were to fail for some reason, it is designed to fall within a radius of just 150 feet straight down. We think that based on the evidence we presented, the materials we provided, that Verizon's proposed cell tower satisfies the 6 criteria for a special exception. We refer the board to petitioner's proposed findings that were part of the application originally submitted. And we would point out that staff has, in its staff report, adopted petitioner's proposed findings in the staff report and in regard to the 6 required items to be satisfied. We would request that one of our packets of material be incorporated into the record for purposes of this hearing and request a favorable vote on our proposal. I can answer any questions you might like.
Don't seem to be any. Thank you. Is there anybody else that would like to speak on this petition? Okay, I declare the public meeting on this petition, public hearing on this petition closed. Any discussion among the board members? Thank you. All right. I'll take a motion.
I move to approve the special exception for the Verizon tower at 6196 South Kid Road.
Okay.
I'll second that proposal.
Motion made and properly seconded to approve the petition. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Motion carries. Thank you and sorry for the delay from last month.
Yes, I apologize.
Such a beautiful place to visit.
It is my fault. It is my fault. I apologize. It really is. It's genuinely my fault. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it was
Safe
hurtful.
travels.
It was hurtful.
Thank you all very much.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, next on the agenda is petition 15554. Oh, no, that's one that was withdrawn.
No, that's correct, yeah, that was withdrawn.
Okay. Next on the agenda is petition 15579. Petitioner is Connersville Park Road Partners LLC. And they seek a variance from development standards. Two variances. The first variance is relief of the 85 parking places down to 36. The second variance seeks a relief from the permit parking and drives within the green space. Okay, there's someone here to speak. Oh, Andrew Russell.
Yeah, you should be there. You go.
Oh, okay. Hello.
Good evening. Can you hear me all?
Yep.
Okay. Good evening. My name is Andrew Rosell with AR Engineering, and I'm representing Connersville Partners. I believe you have Shane Kaufman and Dave Penny in the audience live with you guys in case any questions come up for the owners. They're the owner, developer, and contractor for this project if it were to go through. We're the civil engineer, and we submitted on behalf of Connersville Partners. What we're asking is for a variance. The first is for a variance from the parking standards for what would require 85 parking spaces for a retail store, whereas we only need 36 spaces. Obviously, you probably are familiar with our name. We've come before you a couple years ago for a request of the same nature, and so we know, based on this national retail store, we know what fits their needs. This is a 10,640 square foot building, and as you can see, I don't know if I'm able to share, but you probably have a site plan in front of you. So the store would be situated in the northwest corner of the property, and then all the parking would be forward of the store, east of the store, towards Park Road or State Road 1. So we're trying to keep that out along the, the highway corridor, the commercial corridor there. Obviously, there's some grade change. I know there's probably concern about that, and we intend to construct a wall, a knee-high wall in the rear and on the side of the building, on the south side of the building. So we're trying to limit the, I guess, the encroachment or, the parking is the main busyness or traffic for the store. So we're trying to keep that positioned on the east side of the store. and out towards the highway, and then limit the traffic alongside the building. I'm able to share an aerial plan if that helps, or I don't know. See, I don't know who's controlling us all, so I'll try to share my screen. So I can't share my screen, but you all have the site plan, so I don't know how many members are in the audience that can that would be able to see that, but if you can picture the store in the northwest corner of the site, and then the parking in the front, and then there's actually an existing drive that aligns with the east side of State Road 1, so we would utilize that existing drive and then curve into our parking. So that's already constructed, so there wouldn't be a new drive onto State Road 1. And we would install a guardrail or fence across the west side of that drive so that you couldn't have cross-through traffic between Park and Ohio. So that's the parking side of the variance. The other variance that we're seeking obviously is to allow that parking in the front of the store in that front setback. Obviously, a lot of those facilities along Park either have parking in front of the building or on the sides. In this configuration, to kind of be sensitive to the residential along Ohio, I think it makes sense to allow that parking along the commercial corridor. That's all I have. If anybody has questions, we'd be happy to answer them.
Okay. Does anybody in the audience want to speak on this? You want to come up here and state your name, please?
Yeah, my name's Paul Day. My dad's house is kind of right there in back of the where you're going to build at. So you're going to put a guardrail on the south side of his house, so there's no traffic right there.
Well,
That's the house on the small parcel. That's like a peninsula that goes out into the project area.
south of our parcel.
No, he's,
No, that's the one that sticks into your parcel.
So it'd be, Bill, it'd be that area right
Are
there.
you able to see my screen?
you got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so here,
Yeah, that's where he is.
That's the one.
yeah, so we would construct a wall because of the grade change, and then we would also construct a privacy fence along those sides. The guardrail that I was talking about, either a guardrail or a fence, would be down here just to deter any cut-through traffic between the two. I think that might be an issue now.
You see what he's
Yeah.
talking about?
Yeah. All right, thank you.
Yep, thank you.
Anyone else like to speak? Okay, and we're going to close the public hearing in this petition. Any comments from the board? Any
Yeah.
questions?
I mean, yeah, I've got questions.
Okay.
So the stormwater pond there, that's not part of this packet. I know it's may even be out of the scope of this board, but one of the things that concerns me is that genuinely a stormwater pond, or is that just a depression to catch stormwater? Do you understand what I mean? Like,
It's not standing water.
okay.
It's a retention basin, not detention.
Okay, that's, I mean, I was just worried about
Yeah,
a
We-
muck area right there amongst all those houses.
yeah, they don't.
It will,
stand in
it will be what we call a detention basin, so it will hold water in the large rain events, but slow release it, because all this water sheds to, the DOT right away now, so this will just hold water for a short period of time.
Right.
And then, 90% of the time it will be dry, it's just in those.
Is there overflow or is it just a evaporation
It has, it'll have a slow release in the bottom of it that
to,
holds it.
right, so that,
restricts it, and then.
that way it's not, its net release is no greater. It's, I'm assuming just compliant with the new, not Rule 5, used to be Rule 5.
Yeah, eventually it's dry.
Yeah.
After a few hours, I don't know how long it is.
Yeah.
Will that be fenced in?
No, because it's dry.
Yeah, it won't hold water like that. That's the reason I asked.
Well, another thing through that particular area right there, which you also found out with the movie theater is really permeable because it's all that sand.
Yeah.
Yeah, from the river deposits.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
Bill, there's a gentleman in the audience.
Is that building gonna come right up to my property on 2140? Looks like it is.
Let me put it back.
On the north side?
North side?
On the north side, no, there's about a 15-foot setback, and then I'm not sure who asked that, but if this is the building that you're talking about,
Yeah, I think it's my house.
Yeah, it's your,
yeah, there's probably 25 feet in between them.
Okay. Well, my property there is already lower than the property that's there, so if there's any water runoff that comes off that building, it's gonna go to my house. So,
They're not actually allowed to, they're not really, so the way that they'll grade that, they're not allowed to put that water onto you. And so what they'll do is either A, gutter, or B, slope that water, slope that area that he's talking about, that 25 feet. Through grading, they'll force that water to go towards that stormwater pond, or, detention area.
Our finished floor will be about 4 feet, probably in the neighborhood of 4 feet lower than the current house that's there.
Okay,
That's why we have to put that retaining wall around the back.
yeah,
So we're dropping that anyway. We're gonna be a lot lower than his house.
okay.
And now relative then to the road level, it's the, about how much above the road elevation will you have the roof be above?
On Park Road,
No, yeah, well, looking at it from Ohio, because I know there's a lot of grade right there.
yeah, we'll be below it.
Okay.
I think
So,
like a 4 foot wall or something.
go ahead, Shane. Yeah. So probably about 4 feet below Ohio, but 4 feet above Park is just
We
approximate.
kind of split the
So,
difference.
I'm not sure, somebody on the board is pretty knowledgeable about stormwater, but, yeah, I would just like to confirm, the lady that said that is, we would gutter this and make sure that this all makes it down here, because we can't discharge any water off from our property. So, based on the grades, this property here would be about the same elevation as the house to the north. And then really it starts rising up here. So that's why we would need the wall across here. If that helps.
Any other questions or?
another question would be, property values? Has there been a decrease in property values because of it?
That would be.
What was the question? Sorry.
Would there be a
Property value
decrease in
impact.
property values because of this?
I think that it's basically an opinion on that. Because of the construction and the investment here, a lot of times that raises property values, but obviously, in residential, then there's the opinion that it detracts from that. So,
It's its own general business, and so I understand, and we do care, but since it's zone general business, it's not really something that we can consider. You know, they're asking for variances on parking and, you know,
May I ask what exactly is going in? I mean, it's a retail store, but what is it?
We're not allowed to announce it.
Yeah, that's restriction. Really what they're asking today is, they're asking that this would require 85 parking spaces typically. They're asking to change that to less parking spaces.
Yeah,
It
so
seems like you guys might share the same thoughts, that you would like it to have less parking spaces than a lot more concrete.
As long as they have enough to accommodate the cars, and so they might not park on our street.
Sure,
Yeah.
sure.
'Cause it's
I
gonna
can
make
tell
it a
you-
lot busier.
I can tell you that generally these companies have a lot of research done to know they much less than what you would want. They don't want to have a parking lot that's over capacity and they're having people have to park on
And
side
it
streets and stuff.
really shouldn't increase the traffic on Ohio, the way
No,
they're
because
blocking that off.
there won't be
access from
an
Ohio.
access from Ohio. And Shane, like, so from the elevation of Ohio down to the floor of the building, what,
Yeah, we're thinking around that 4-foot mark.
oh, to the, not the
Yeah,
roof,
because-
but the bottom.
Because we're gonna have approximately a 4-foot retainer wall around the envelope of the building.
Okay,
So naturally, we're gonna drop it down, about that far.
okay.
Then we'll have a fence around that, so that nobody,
And then the lighting, you're gonna have directional lighting that'll go towards the building, right?
we'll just have standard parking lot lights, the
Goes
LED lights
down.
that are straight down, and then, there are some lights on the outside of the building on the sidewalk sides, or on the sidewalk, along the building, which is the south side.
All right.
Just pretty much standard lights of see.
Gonna have shades.
But about all our lights right now face straight down,
Straight down.
shine straight down, and
Yeah, they're down there.
it's not like a
Okay.
yeah, because that's pretty much what the standard with any lighting that's done for these now. It's all downcast lighting, so you don't get the light shining out to the sides. You don't get a 360. You don't get 360 degrees of light being emitted from the fixture.
We actually have a lighting engineer that
Yep.
puts together a plan and watches the camera power that's emitted.
And how far from the sidewalk now on Ohio would that wall be set at?
Or have to look, there's parking.
No,
And on the Ohio side.
Could you bring that back up, Andrew?
Oh, yeah.
I do
Sorry,
have some,
trying to-
I'm sorry, the lights are on the north side, I got my,
So this area
no,
will,
it's on the south side.
yeah, south and
will likely be able to light this area with just wall packs. And then the area in front will need a couple pole fixtures, but like Shane said, they're night sky friendly, they're downward facing. If we need to shield them, so they don't throw any light over the property lines, then we have that option too. But
That drive aisle, how wide's that drive aisle, Andrew?
that's only, here, I'll pull up the other. On the south side of the building, the drive aisle is only 32 feet. So that's just for the dumpster and the loading area, so there won't be a lot of traffic in there. The semi comes once a week, and then I'm not sure on the trash pickup, but that will try to limit the traffic on the south side of the building, with the majority of the traffic on the east side.
yeah, on the plan here, it shows 22 feet between the building and the, I guess what would be the retaining wall.
So did that answer your question on the sidewalk part?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I do know there is gas, water, sewer running down through on the other side of that
Yeah.
sidewalk.
I'm sure they
I
have
watched
to
them.
have all that located.
I watched them at one time filling the 22-foot people.
Yeah. Alrighty.
Do these need to be handled in separate motions, the two variances, or can they be
Yes,
handled together?
yes, because they're two specific requests. Yep.
So, we'll close the public hearing on this petition. I'll take a motion.
Move to approve the reduction in parking spaces from 85 to 36 spaces in this petition.
I'll second it.
All right, motion made to reduce the parking area. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Okay, I'll take a motion on the second variance.
I move to allow the parking within the green space variance requested by the applicant.
I'll second it.
Motion made and properly seconded to approve the second variance. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Okay, next on the agenda is director's.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll make a motion to approve the director's report.
Second.
Motion made and properly seconded to approve the director's report. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay, now then,
I make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
I'm behind on my motions here. Leota must have,
motion made to adjourn. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries.